Welcome, welcome, welcome. As I said before, this is the first ever Zoom OzzCast. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys are having a good day so far. It is actually, what, 10 a.m. right now, brother, as it is?
Uh, yeah, 10:02, 10:02.
We're actually good on time. Damn, we did something right for once.
I know, damn, finally.
uh, so let me introduce you. You are Ramon, but you already know that. The glorious one. Welcome.
Glorious.
This is your second outing. Damn, you're
It
the first
is.
one.
It is. I'm honored, man. I'm honored, you've been kicking ass with these things, bro. Like, I
Thank you,
mean,
thank you.
it's just it's great. I've had friends tell me that they like your Ozcast and stuff and your have you
Thank
seen
you.
this yet? Those things are pretty
Uh,
cool.
yeah, those were kick ass. Those were a lot of fun to do. They're always fun to record, and then the stress comes afterwards, and you got to do the post production, and you got to match up certain pictures with the audio. And I figured it was taking me so long to do the editing, and I love the way I edited your podcast and Alondra's podcast and Araceli's podcast. It's just so time consuming, and I was so like
Yeah.
tight on time that I kind of made them differently. But hey, they seem to be liking them the way that they are, so I'll take it.
I mean, I like them. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
they're back when I was driving further out for work. You know, I would listen to it before
yeah.
getting to work, or sometimes on the way back home because it took me a little longer to get back home. But man, those
Right,
things were
right.
great though. They're very entertaining as hell, and the ones that you made so far. I mean, they've been
Uh,
kick ass.
I mean, it's just people telling their stories, and like I said before, it's just everybody has a story, and they're fascinating if you actually take the time to listen. And that's the problem right now. Obviously, it's tough times right now, but if you take the time to listen, it's like, okay, let me break it down for you. Uh, you have the old school Mexican parents or the old school Latino parents. They come from Mexico. They come from Honduras, Nicaragua. They all have a story of how they got here, and those are the stories that are fascinating. You know what I'm saying? Like even if let's say Alondra had an amazing story when it come of how what school is like now as to when we were kids. When we were kids, it was one thing. Now uh, things change, things evolve, kids change, fads change, so everything's crazy, you know what I'm saying? And we
Yeah.
live in such a social media based world that everything is based on likes and clout and the trends and the TikToks and the dances and the renegade, it's just you gotta keep up with it or else you're gonna get lost in the shuffle. That's how it is nowadays, at least in my opinion.
That's true. That's true, man.
But I want to ask you something right off the bat. About a month ago, you requested an OzCast. It was in the works. It was something that we were going to work on, but when you mentioned, uh, I'm gonna do an OzCast with the Oz, and we're gonna talk about it. And I was like, oh, okay, this is actually happening. The pressure is on. Um, the floor is yours. Uh, Go ahead.
All right. Well, before I get started with anything, I just want to and excuse the background noise. It's really noisy out here.
We live in East LA, bro. It's gonna happen
You
regardless.
know what I'm
If you
saying?
if you give us about an hour and a half, you'll hear the songs from the taco stand outside. So
Serio from the Barbacoa people.
it's gonna happen. So don't even worry about it.
Alrighty. I wanted to give a disclaimer. Anything I say during these Ozcasts or streams or anything like that, they are my opinions only. They're not based off my employer or any organizations that I belong to. These are just solely my opinions and how I feel. So, I'm not talking on behalf of anybody except myself. So that's the first disclaimer that I wanted to give. So, yeah. About about a month ago, I was diagnosed with COVID-19. And I was asked by a lot of people, like, hey, like, how do you feel? Like, how does it feel? Like, things like that. And
Right.
the thing is, I had so many people ask that I figured, you know what, I'm just going to make a video out of it.
Yeah.
And what better way than do it than with the Oz?
Right.
Which is
Right.
why I asked for this Ozcast.
I remember when you broke the news to me that you had COVID. I was coming home from work and I was on the bus, and you texted me like, "Hey, I want to tell you something." And I go, "All right, what you got?" You always have something to say. I always have something to say. you know, um, you never think it's anything negative. We know each other, you and I, you know, but when you said, oh, I got diagnosed with COVID, I'm like, wait, what? It's weird. It's weird, you know. But go ahead, go on.
So, I'm gonna break it down. So it all started, and it's gonna sound really lame. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that we can hear you can hear me through the channel. So I'm just watching.
Yeah, yeah.
But in the beginning, it started off with believe it or not, diarrhea.
Okay.
At first it wasn't one of the symptoms, then it all of a sudden became a symptom, and I was like, okay, well, I've been sorry about that. I've been
Y, y está bro.
yeah, I've been dealing with it for a couple of days, so I figured I'd let my manager know, right? So I told my manager, hey, I'm having this symptom, and she's like, oh, you know what? Let me send an email or whatever. So they sent an email, and then we had a screener call the office and say, okay, well, how long has it been going on for? So on and so forth, asking all these questions. So they're like, okay, we're gonna have to send you home. If your symptoms subside by tomorrow morning, feel free to come back to work. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I went home and woke up the next morning. It was cool. So I went back home. I went back to work, and Wednesday it was cool. It was during the Martin Luther King 3-day weekend.
Okay.
So that Wednesday I was good. Thursday I woke up with the cough. And I
Okay.
was like, and it wasn't like a blah, 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 cough, It was like a
Yeah.
every now and then.
Right.
So I went to work, and when I got to work, I told my manager, I'm like, hey, you know what? I woke up with the cough now. So she emailed again, and I got that call. But this time when they screened me, they're like, you are to stay home until you get tested. So
What before when you first started getting obviously the diarrhea, did anything run through your mind that, oh shit, something might be wrong?
um no, because sometimes I suffer from it. Like, let's say for
Okay.
example,
Yeah.
fucking I drank too much coffee. Sometimes if I
Right.
drink too much coffee, that caffeine gives me the runs.
Right. No,
So,
I get it. I get it because spoiler alert, I'm lactose intolerant, so yeah, I'm
oh,
right there with you. Trust me.
yeah. So, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. But
No, that's fine.
yeah. So I really didn't think much of it. I mean, and sometimes I suffer from GI issues too. So it wasn't. So I didn't think much of it. But then afterwards, when I got sent home, um, you know, I I felt like, oh shit, because the media made it seem like you get this shit and you're like pretty much fucked.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
made it seem, when it first started, they made it seem like, oh, this COVID thing and oh, this whole thing's going on, like, you
Right.
know. So don't get me wrong. At first, I was like, oh shit, like, fuck, I got it, and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I came home, and I didn't want to like get near anybody
Right.
because that shit, it's fucking, you can spread it. So I was like, I got home, and I showered, whatever, and then I had to break the news.
Now, when you got home, had you already received your test results?
No, the test results. I didn't get to do those until Tuesday of the following week because there was so many employees and so many people getting it done that there was
Mm-hmm.
some type of a wait list. But they prioritized those that were working in office, so that way they can, whether they're negative, like if they're negative, they can go back to work, or if they're positive, they need to be quarantined.
Now, before you told your parents or your mom, excuse me, and your family, can you run me how did you feel? Like your initial reaction to it. You obviously know that you have something,
Yeah.
and you're automatically thinking the worst, you know. Run me by your train of thought during this time. Because you still had about an hour long ride home to
Yeah.
process every single thing that's in your mind.
Um, my first thought was, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Um, by that I mean, like, holy shit! Like, my mom has, so many illnesses that I was afraid, like, oh my god, if she gets this shit, the way it was being portrayed, it was like, oh fuck, if she gets it, she can get really sick.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing on my mind. And then it's like, now it's like, I can't be around anybody until I find out whether or not I have it. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm a homebody, but I also like to kick it with my friends as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
During the weekends or whatever. But now I couldn't even do that, and especially because the 3-day weekend was coming up.
Right.
I was able. Everything was just like completely over for me until I found out those test results.
Well, I remember that specific weekend. You were nowhere to be found, and you're always up and at it on 3-day weekend. I mean, I didn't find it odd because, like you said, I'm also a hermit. I like to be home. You know what I'm saying? But you notice little things when the weekend comes and Ramon is still home. What the hell? He's actually home today.
Yeah. So that was my initial thought process on my way to the house.
Yeah.
Obviously, by the time I got home, I had to compose myself and hold that straight face for my mom.
Right.
I was kind of hesitant about it because my mom's a bit of a worrywart.
Right.
So if I were to, when I told her, like, you could tell her expression just went, like, she got pale, and I'm just like, I told her, Mom, it's gonna be okay. I just got sent home. I don't even know if I have it. Like, I still have to get tested, but I can't be near you. So, just it's all precautionary measures that I have to take. So, she's like, oh my God, mijo, so.
Okay, so you get home, you tell your family, run by me when you got your test results back.
It was like I got slapped in the face, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's like I had stated, the first thing that popped into mind was my mom.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, like, how long have I had it for? Like, I is it too late? Like, did I already, give it to my mom? Or, my niece also is here as well. So I'm just like, holy crap, like, does the whole house now have it? Like, what am I gonna do? So I got worried. Especially for my mom. I think that was my first thought process. Then it was like, oh my God, then my sister comes over too, so it's like, all these people, like, it was mostly like, how long have I had it for, and who did I possibly infect?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you got your test results, did you go into full quarantine at that time?
I had to, yeah. Once you're diagnosed with it, you have to be in quarantine for 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then in my case, it was 14 days plus, I believe, another 3 extra days of symptom-free, days. So no cough, no fever, none of that.
Were you still sick when you quarantined yourself? Did you feel ill when you were quarantining yourself?
About that, yeah. So I got my test results that Tuesday of the following week, but prior to that, obviously I didn't go to work Friday because of the holiday, but that Friday, I want to say Friday evening to like Sunday midday was the worst because I had planned an 8-hour stream on our YouTube channel.
I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Oh my God. Halfway through that stream, if you see it, you'll hear me say, like, oh, I don't feel good. Like, I may have to call it early. I have to call it early. It was so bad. I started feeling the bad symptoms halfway through that stream.
Yeah, I watch your streams after. Sometimes I'll watch them live. I'll break in there and I'll watch them live, or I'll watch the video. I sat through the entire 8-hour episode in a prolong of 2 days, so I did watch beginning to end. And there comes a point where your voice just starts going lower and lower. You start going mute, and then you just start like, oh, yeah. You hear a lot of, oh.
Yeah. I was done by the fourth hour. I was done. The only reason why I kept going was because I had said I was going to do the 8 hours. I mean, absolutely. I think people would understand had I cut it earlier, but
therein lies the dilemma that you would have to tell people why you cut it down.
Exactly.
I get you.
So, I did that, and then once I ended the stream, I literally went to bed. I couldn't handle it anymore. I woke up Saturday morning. horrible, like body aches, headaches. I don't even say headache. I won't say they were migraines because it was bad. Like my eyes were burning to the point where I didn't stream, I didn't watch TV, I didn't do any of that. I was hearing the TV because
Yeah.
my ears didn't hurt, but other than that, like my eye, it was so bad. Like the pain, like the body aches. I would understand if somebody that has a weaker immune system would go to the hospital for it because
Yeah.
it felt like the flu, but like twice as bad.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You work in the medical field.
Correct.
Do you feel or do you think that this was brought on because of work, or do you think you might have contacted it elsewhere?
You know what? It's hard to say because, I mean, we were seeing patients before this whole pandemic thing came through, and they were saying that this thing was coming from like way back in like December.
Right.
So, before people were like sanitizing their hands like excessively and wearing masks and stuff. I mean, I could have gotten it from anywhere, but I mean, like you said, working in the medical field, chances are, either receiving a card for a co-payment or an insurance card or a sheet of paper, or, a pen.
A pen, yeah.
Yeah, it could have come from anywhere, but
nothing but respect for the people in the medical field. Yeah, whether 100%. You work in a low budget dental office or anything, you're such a high risk for getting this disease, and they're putting their lives on the line. They say retail workers and us warehouse workers are heroes, but the medical people are like the real heroes in my opinion, because they're the ones having to contact people every single day.
Yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds of people. So my hat's off to you guys if you're watching this.
Yeah. 100%.
Tell me about your quarantine. What was that like? Because you're forced to be inside by yourself.
Correct.
And you are just like me, where if you're left alone for too long, this starts turning on and everything.
Yeah. No. It was bad. I mean, at first it was okay because I was like, all right, cool. I get to game more, whatever. I get to watch more TV, but. Yeah. You can only do that for so much before it starts getting boring.
Right.
Luckily for me, I have a balcony that I can at least go out and get some fresh air. But other than that, I wasn't able to get out of my house to go, get food or go get water or whatever. Like, I literally had to stay indoors or in my room without having contact with anybody. So, yeah, I mean, I want to say maybe after the first 4 days, maybe.
Okay.
It was the first 4 days were like, okay, cool. Well, with the exception of that day and a half, but after that, even after your main symptoms, like the hard ones, subside, you still have to stay in quarantine until you're like symptom free. So, I guess I want to say after that it was just boring.
Okay, so the 2 weeks come and done. I'm sorry, the 14 days come and done. Did you go immediately back to work?
No, I took an extra week just to play it safe. So I was out of work for actually 3 weeks.
Okay.
Went back to work, and about a week and a half later, we then started taking surveys, because in the beginning we weren't taking a survey because they have to track the employees now just to see if they're symptomatic or so on and so forth. So one of the questions was, does somebody in your household have a confirmed case of COVID-19?
Right.
At that point, I had found out that my mom actually came out positive for it as well.
Right.
Which that was, a blow in itself. So when I answered yes to that, they're like, oh, you need to call this number. We need to screen you. I was like, oh, shit, here we go.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, you have to stay home for another 2 weeks, regardless if you have no symptoms, because there's somebody in your household that's positive for COVID. So I was like, oh, shit.
But the second time you were sent home, you didn't have the symptoms. You didn't have anything. It was just...
I was asymptomatic.
By association.
No.
It was by association.
Correct. But they also had me go get retested.
Okay.
And with that retest, it showed that I still had COVID.
Oh, my God.
So I was like, fucking shit,
Yeah.
So, I was home for another 2 weeks. And then I was told, like, oh, well, you can't come back to work until the 14 days, and then you need a letter from your doctor. So I was like, shit. So the 2 weeks passed by. My mom actually got retested, and thank goodness she came back negative for it. So
Right.
good
Yeah.
for that. I'm excited for that. So I was like, okay, well, she's negative, and we were in contact. We were playing like cards and stuff. So we were touching stuff together as far as like without sanitizing it. So I was like,
Items. Yeah.
so I was like, okay, cool. So if she doesn't have it, I don't have it.
What? Okay. So you tested positive.
Mm-hmm.
You isolate. You go back to work. You retested. You're positive.
Correct.
How? What's your mindset then? The first time you're obviously going stir crazy. You have a bunch of emotions. I'm pretty sure you were angry. You want to cry. You want to punch a wall. You want to punch anything at this point. And then you get told again, you still have it. How do you process that? That's crazy.
Yeah. My thought to that was like, fuck, am I gonna fucking feel like shit again?
Yeah.
Like, dude, don't. I mean, it gave a lasting impression because it was really bad. Like, I never felt that sick, and I was just
Right.
like, am I gonna have to go through that again? Because it wasn't fun and it sucked, and it's like, damn, like I have it again, so I'm out of work. Like, am I gonna be covered for all of this? Like, I got shit to pay, and I can't pay it if I'm stuck in my bed. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So it's like all these thoughts just started going through your mind. Well, through my mind the second time around, because it's like,
Did you get unemployment for that, or you were still getting compensated by
no,
work?
I was getting compensated by work. Thank goodness.
Okay.
It was, I don't want to say a lengthy process, but there was paperwork involved. So
Oh,
thank
absolutely. Yeah.
goodness for that. Appreciate HR coming through, and my managers, supervisors, all that came through, and my doctor also came through for me as well. So
What's
yeah,
your status now?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm back at work. You know, I haven't had any. I'm good, man. Like, I don't have any symptoms. I haven't came in contact with anybody like that. I've been taking extra precautions, so it. I've been safe, man. I've been safe, and I'm good. And
When you
literally,
went back to work the second time, were they more like, "Damn, it's about time"?
no, because there was other cases as well, so it wasn't like, you know, oh, you were gone because you wanted to be gone. Like, other people were gone as well.
Right.
So it was more like, oh, we're glad you're back, as opposed to like, dang, dude, where you been?
Yeah.
Because I mean, at that point, when you work, it's just like, it depends on how long you've been there. You kind of like become a bit of a family. So everybody was just like more concerned than anything.
We were tested at work in April because two people tested positive at my job for it. But I remember when the weekend that you told me that you had the COVID, uh, the day after, I could swear that my chest was tightening up the next day. So I'm working because I work in a warehouse and I write up in electric pallet jack all day. So I'm standing on the jack and I just feel my chest start to tighten up and I'm just like, what the? I can't breathe. I start coughing. And then I was like, what the hell? Do I have something? Like, I literally told my friend, I think you're going to have to take me to the hospital. I don't feel good. And turned out it was just a panic attack because I was overthinking.
You
But,
overthinking us?
and
Come
you know what?
on.
De vez en cuando, you know what I'm saying?
De vez en cuando no hace daño.
But yeah, we did get tested at work. They did the whole little thing in the nose. I felt like I was penetrated so far up there, like. But it came out negative, so thank goodness for that. But I do feel from some of the articles that I read that this thing has been here since back in November,
Yeah, I saw that
and
shit too.
I remember I was sick in early January. I got the flu, so I kind of feel like we all have it or got it at some point. It was just wasn't diagnosed as that. It was diagnosed more as the flu or influenza or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, the shortness of breath too. That one. I mean, you do feel it like that whole. I want to say I started having the breathing issues Saturday.
Okay.
Um, like you're breathing normal, then all of a sudden you're like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's real, peeps. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, people are like, oh no, it's just the symptoms are real, whether
Yeah.
they're extreme or they're light or whatever the reason may be, anywhere in between. They're real. I mean, some people
N-
get it worse than others. So
Now, the last thing for this topic is you work in the
perfect.
medical field. Can you give the viewers any tips to be safe? Because yes, everything is opening up again, but we're still not out of the woods.
No, we're
I
not.
think I read it. I read an article this morning where the governor is planning to shut down, I think, Imperial County
Yep.
because it has such a huge
Yep.
surge of coronavirus cases now. You know, and since you work in the medical field, can you give the viewer any type of tips to be safe?
Wear your goddamn mask. Stop making a fucking scene about it. Like, the worst inconvenience that you're gonna get is a piece of cloth or a piece of something covering your face.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just wear a fucking mask, please. All right.
We've
Don't
all
think.
seen the videos. We've all
Yeah.
seen the videos. Yeah.
Okay. Wear a mask and sanitize. I mean, I have my fucking sanitizer bottle right next to my PC, um,
Yeah.
just in case. But yeah, just keep clean and wear your goddamn mask.
I'm very interested now because we're gonna move on from this subject. Do you have anything else to say about this?
No, just stay safe, my peeps, and like I said, just wear your mask.
Just
I
wear
mean,
your mask. It's
please
not
wear
that
your
hard.
mask. I mean, that's if you don't want to sanitize your hands, wear gloves or whatever. I mean, I don't know. Just main thing though is wear your mask and don't wear it to where it's right here covering just this and not your nose. Cover the whole thing.
Right.
Everything has to be covered. If you're wearing it like this, it's like that one meme that says like, "Oh, this is how it looks like if you wear your underwear with your dick hanging out." It's like hanging out like
Yeah.
that.
And that's the worst part is that a lot of us are adults. Can we act like adults and be responsible? If not for us, for our children, for the love of God. If you have
Please,
children, they obviously look up to you. Put the goddamn mask on correctly. Put a goddamn mask on,
please,
please.
yeah.
I wanted to talk to you the last time because the last podcast, we just went so much into wrestling. By the time I realized that we were out of time, because my podcasting program allows me like a certain amount of a lot of time. I'm looking behind you, and I see a trophy right there, and I see medals hanging right there. Are those from your time at AYSO?
Actually, no. Those that you see there, actually were when I used to play.
Okay.
Um, I have another one further out on that side. I'm not gonna pan it out that way, but there's
When how old were you when you played?
shit. When I won those, I want to say maybe I was like mid 20s.
Okay.
Mid
So you
to
weren't a child.
no, no, yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get to play in the team when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, financial issues didn't allow it.
Uh-huh.
But as an adult, since I was the one in charge of my own finances, I'm like, hey, let
Yeah.
me join an adult team, and it was actually indoor. It was indoor soccer that I won those in.
Do you when you were playing as an adult or like over what you were 20 something, right?
Yeah.
Is that when you broke your leg? Or did you
No.
dislocated your leg?
No, when I tore my ACL on my knee. By the way,
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I
Um,
wanted to bring it up because I know you have I knew there was something had to do with the leg, you know.
Yeah. So no, that happened. I want to say 18, 19 years old. I was playing, and I don't know if you've seen in the parks. There's this like really like round black thing on the pitch,
Like
it's,
the
it's
sprinkler?
like a sprinkler.
Okay.
So the grass grew tall on it, and I didn't see, and I was playing forward at the time, and I was running full blast to go after the ball, and the hole was pretty deep. I would say maybe it was like about like that deep, and my foot went in, and then when it came back out, all you hear was, tuk, 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 and I was like, oh, so I fell down, whatever, but I was able to walk normal, whatever, I mean, it would give out every now and then. I went to a emergency room. I'm not gonna say which one. White Memorial. But I went over there, and they're like, "Oh, let's X-ray it." They x-rayed it. Oh, it's normal. You can go home. Here are some pills for the pain. Whatever, whatever. ACE wrap it around. You should be fine in about a week or so.
Yeah.
Whatever. I went to my regular PCP. PCP means primary care physician. Sorry. Medical terminology.
You're fine. They can Google it. They spend all day on Google anyway. They can Google it.
I went to my PCP and they're like, you know what? Let's get an MRI done. So I went to go have the MRI, and yeah, I had a partially torn ACL, and my meniscus was messed up as well. So I had to have surgery for that. But yeah, that's how that happened.
Didn't you retore it when you healed it?
Yeah, well, it didn't re-tear the meniscus. Meniscus, they had to, I guess, shave it off a little bit more. So, because as it is right now, my knee's still a bum knee. So if I don't, let's say I want to play soccer again and I want to run, or even if I go out jogging, I have to ACE wrap it every time, because if not, it believe it or not, it pops out of place and I have to pop it back into place.
Right. So because of these injuries, were you forced to Daniel Bryan your career? You were forced to retire?
Later on, yeah, as I got older, but I actually won those after I had my surgery.
Okay, great. Okay,
so,
okay, cool.
For those that say that you're never the same after surgery, it's true and it's false.
Right.
It all depends on how you rehab your knee, or whichever part of your body is how well it's gonna work. Because if you have surgery, you can have the best surgeon do your surgery, but if you don't do any physical therapy on it, or any type of exercises on it, it's gonna be for nothing.
Now, you actually made the successful transition from player to coach to president of AYSO.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that transition. What was that like?
Of course. So, I'm still currently not currently the regional commissioner for the East LA region of AYSO.
Yeah.
I actually started off there. I got tricked, which is, by those that know about AYSO know that pretty much everybody in their positions got tricked into it. It's a nifty little trick that board members do. Anyway, I went to go see my nephew play at Belvedere Park here in East LA, and they were shorthanded refs, and they're like, "Hey, well, you know the rules?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah. Do you mind refereeing for us? We have no referee in that game." I'm like, "Well, I don't know anything about refereeing, but I'll go for it." So I went and did that. Then the commissioner at the time's like, "Hey, we're having a board member meeting. Like, you want to come over and join the meeting?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, sure, why not?" And then in that meeting, I got nominated for referee administrator.
Okay.
And I was like, "Well, I mean, my nephew's there." So
a shout out to Fabian too, by the way, if you're watching
this. LaBeouf. Yeah.
But okay.
So I was like, "Fuck, go."
What's your duties like as commissioner?
So I oversee the region. That's the coaches, like the volunteers in general, not just coaches. I oversee the players as well. In charge of fields and stuff, making sure everything's paid for on time, making sure equipment's there. I have board members that help me out with this as well, but I have to oversee that. So I pretty much oversee the operations of the whole region.
And it's more of a volunteer basis, right? It's no actual pay.
Correct. Okay. I do this solely for free. I don't get paid. So for those that say that I get paid by going to these meetings and these annual, commissioner meetings that we go out and travel out to, I don't get paid for that. So I don't, so don't think that, oh yeah, that's why, it's funny because when I first started as a commissioner, I had just gotten my car.
Yeah.
And people's like, "Oh, well, there goes our registration money." And I'm like, and it's funny because they did that to the previous commissioner too, and it's like, oh, what are the odds, But yeah, so it just you get a lot of slack off of that. Like they'll tell you.
How long were you there?
I've been.
Oh, you've been there.
I've been there about 7 years.
Do you feel that it takes up a lot of your time?
Oh hell yeah. It takes over my Saturdays, and when it's tournament weekends, it takes over my weekends period.
Do you, and I don't know how to word this, do you feel that AYSO and your commitment to AYSO was the reason a lot of your relationships haven't worked out?
Funny you bring that up. Now looking back at it, I want to say it had something to do with it. I don't want to say
Hmm.
that it was solely the whole fault of this taking over my weekends thing, because I was
It is
actually,
time consuming. I do remember that it was
yeah,
severely time consuming too.
hell yeah. I would go, like, when we used to kick it on Friday nights, you would have to
I
wait until I
remember.
came back from painting the field before we can actually kick it. And I couldn't kick it
Yeah,
for that long because I had to wake up early to go referee.
you would text me, we're gonna kick it tonight at Big Oz. I'm like, yeah, yeah. What time? Like, oh, I should be home by around 8:30. 8:30 comes. He's nowhere to be found. Hey, where you at? I'm almost done. I'm almost done. You get home at 9:30, have one or two beers. All right, Big Oz, I'm gonna head inside because I gotta get up
Yeah.
early. And then you would go inside, and I'll be like,
For real though. Oh man. I remember. I remember.
um, tell me about your past relationships.
Um. Well, fun fact. I used to be previously engaged.
Yeah.
Um.
You know what? Cut you off on that one. We all had a bet that you were going to get married first. Myself, Jess, Chris, if you guys are watching this, don't forget, we all thought that you were going to get married first.
I thought so too. Um.
Yeah.
And it's a good transition that you bring this up as well, coming from AYSO, because, um, in the beginning, that was the main blame for most of my relationships not working, because I would spend, like I said, Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday if it was a tournament weekend away.
Yeah.
Um, Saturday wasn't an all day thing. I was pretty much done by like, well, I mean, it was an all day thing. I was like pretty much done by like 4. But I mean, I was on the field since like 7, so you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
between that gap time, I mean, I was pretty much unreachable because I was either reffing multiple games, one after the other, or I was stuck doing some other thing while I was on the field. So, yeah, I honestly think that it did take a toll on some of my relationships. Um, it was brought up to me in one of my relationships that it's like, that's all you do, that's where your Saturday goes, and then you're too tired to want to do anything afterwards, like, so on and so forth. And I see where she was coming from now, but back then I was so caught up in, trying to referee and trying to better myself as, part of that organization, that I kind of put my relationship to the side a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Mhm.
yeah.
I really like when people ask me this question, so I'm going to ask it to you. If you can go back, would you change anything?
I would say, yeah, I would.
Right.
I would, because not only did it affect my relationships, but my life in general.
Hmm.
I wouldn't change it because of a relationship. I would just change it based on the fact of how, you know, it affected everybody else around me as well.
Yeah.
Couldn't spend that much time with my nieces, nephews, my mom, or whatever, because like she said, sometimes I would ref every game that was on that field and come home tired, feeling like shit, not wanting to do anything except shower and relax.
Yeah.
Which is where she was coming from, and at that point I was just like, well, whatever, like, I'm getting my workout done, blah blah blah. I would make excuses, but looking back at it now, yeah, I think I should have pulled back a little bit and been like, no, you know what, I can't referee this game, I gotta go.
Right. Do you well, I mean, okay. So I'll scratch that question because I don't personally don't like it, but just without going into full details, give me the moment in your last relationship where you said, "Okay, this is where it ends. This is it."
Oh, I mean, you mean like the relationship ending or the AYSO thing?
The moment where you said, "Okay, it's over."
Well, I wasn't the one that ended it.
Hmm.
Um, but I came to the realization that, oh crap, she was right. I would say maybe 6 months after the whole breakup thing went down, because then I started realizing, like, I mean, because I'm gonna be honest, I went into full depression mode. I mean, so
Absolutely.
I started
I,
thinking.
I was there with you, brother. I
Yeah.
remember those times, and they're not pleasant to remember.
Yeah, they weren't the best of times. They were not the best of times at all. But I
Yeah.
do appreciate you being there for me. I'm gonna take a little moment to thank you for that. Heard me out. You amongst my family, you guys were there for me, and I appreciate you guys. You know who would know where I would be at without your support, bro. And thank you for
You
keeping it
know,
100% real.
I do my part, and that's it. And when I say that I'm here if you need to vent or you need an ear to, I really mean it. I mean it with everybody that I say it to. Nobody thinks I'm serious, but I'm actually pretty serious on it.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to AYSO because obviously, I don't want to dwell too much on the relationship part because that's just a small portion of who you are and the person that you are, but tell me when you discovered, I mean, obviously we heard that LA was getting a new football team, a new soccer team. Okay. This is a while back. Now it's been a couple of years now. So we've dwelled into it. And the first thing you said was, bro, I'm getting season tickets. Cut to now the first official season starts, and I see you hanging out with these group of people that you met through LAFC, through the stadium. Tell me about that.
Alrighty, so I got the news about this new LA team coming on board by the Betancourts, which is Juan, Danny, and Melissa. Oh, and Leo.
Shout out. I know them. They're very good people.
Yes, love you guys. So they're like, hey, because they used to be season ticket holders for Chivas USA. So when they, dismantled and the organization went under or whatever, the email contacts that they had, they gave to LAFC. So then they got the email saying, hey, new team's coming, we're building a new stadium, blah, 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 all that stuff. So then they told me about it. And I'm like, well, how much were your season tickets when you were with Chivas USA? They're like, oh, they were this much, and then we got all these perks. And I'm like, oh, shit, well, that sounds cool. So I registered for them to let me know when they were going to go on sale. They went on sale, and I opted to get 2 tickets with, and we're literally sitting next. So it's all the Betancourts and then myself and then my ticket as well. So we have that one. Pretty much, it's like half of a row that we took over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
What's an experience like at the LAFC games? I've never been to one. I know it was on my list of things to do. You invited me a couple of times. I wasn't able to go, unfortunately. But what's an experience like sitting there?
Man, before starting that, I want to give a big old shout out to the Armada, which is the support group that I belong to. That's part of the 3252. For those that don't know, that 3252 is that section that doesn't stop chanting and singing behind the goalkeeper area at the Bank of California Stadium, which, by the way, is getting their name changed. Just an FYI out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Insider information or what?
There it is, Well, kind of.
OzzCast exclusive, baby.
Yeah. But it's great, man. Just the tailgatings there before games are like awesome. Like there was a time where they had a whole mariachi there, and it's just, it doesn't matter if you know somebody, if you're a stranger or whatever. It's just the unity that you have to support that one team. It's just like you see beyond that. You're like, oh yeah, what's up? Like I've met so many people randomly through these tailgates just because we shared an experience with the chanting section, the 3252. So it's just it's great. It's like you bond over this team, and it's just like, it's so awesome to have that experience. And then sitting at the 3252 is something else. Like you actually don't even sit. It's a standing area with like bars in front of you so you don't fall over.
Okay.
That thing is just, it's you can't explain how you feel. It's just the energy that's in there is just insane.
What's been your favorite game to attend so far?
Oh man, it's got to be El Tráfico. I mean, those games are. I mean, I was there when.
That's the Galaxy LAFC game.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Galaxy versus LAFC, and we don't have a really good track record yet. Unfortunately, Galaxy has more wins over LAFC than we do over them, but that's
Well,
gonna
I mean,
change.
you guys just started, obviously. Duh.
Yeah,
You know.
but those have to be like the most energetic games, whether you're at Dignity Health Stadium or at Bank of California Stadium, because that rivalry is just so. It's like Lakers Celtics or Chivas America or like those type of rivalries, where it's like boom, 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 So,
now since attending soccer game, and I'm not gonna talk about just LAFC. I want to talk in general because you've attended a lot of soccer games.
Yeah,
you've seen humongous stars on the pitch like Carlos Vela and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I think you probably saw Wayne Rooney too. Maybe, I'm not sure. What's the biggest and your favorite star that you've seen on the pitch live and in person?
Okay. LAFC, I mean, you got to give it to Vela. But,
okay.
I mean, that whole team, my favorite, besides Vela, I have two. I have like there's Vela, then you have Diomande and Blessings. Well, I call him Blessings. It's Blessing. It's Latif Blessing, but that whole song Blessings I think it's Kanye, right? Blessings on Blessings on Blessings. Who sings that song?
That's Big Sean.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You are going to get so much hate for that
I am.
On the comments where it's like, it's Big Sean, you dumbass.
Wait, isn't Jay-Z in that song? No.
I think it's Drake.
Drake's in that song.
How do I know this? And I don't listen to a lot of hip hop. Damn it, Ramon. You listen to hip hop.
I don't know. Don't chew me out on this. Damn. I live the life I deserve, blessed. No, but yeah, those are my three top players. I mean, there's the whole team's just in general really good. But those are the three that stand out to me the most.
Okay, so LAFC or Las Chivas de Guadalajara? There you go. Hint.
Damn.
There is a correct answer.
I want to say Lifetime Chivas, but as of right now, I have to give it to LAFC.
Okay.
I will forever be a Chivas fan, but their team, it's not that they're doing too well, but there's just a lot of politics behind that team that is mad ridiculous that it's one of the reasons why I stopped watching that league in general. Like, I haven't seen, well, given that it canceled already or whatever, but before that, like, I hadn't watched Liga MX in a while. It's just that whole league in general is just a lot of politics. I mean, there's politics in every sport,
But when it's fully obvious, it kind of takes away the love of the game.
Yeah, and not only that, like now with like Chivas, you have to subscribe to their channel in order to watch them, and you can only see away games on TV. Like, it makes exactly. So it's like it's you can't really watch them anymore unless you subscribe to that. And I'm not about to I pay what $10 a month to watch them play. I mean, that's if I even get a chance to watch them play. So I'd rather just use that on my Disney Plus. Sponsor me, Disney Plus.
Oh, I love it. Please, Disney Plus, please. I love Disney Plus.
Yeah.
When we started out the channel, I know I said that I was going to put vlogs up, but I never really ended up doing that. I started doing a podcast, stuff like that. But you started doing live streams.
Yeah.
You have the patience to record yourself video gaming. I don't do it personally because I know I'm terrible. Like,
hey. We used to have good Fortnite sessions, bro. Well, back when I used to play it.
I think it was you, me, and we used to play with Caesar Chill Out. Shout out to you if you're watching this. Back then it was Dog Squad. Remember that?
Yeah.
Young Titty.
Oh, look, I already got clowned in the comments about Big Sean, bro.
I told you.
Shout out to you, Polji.
I told you. But give me your three major keys to having a successful stream.
Okay, one is always keep your audience engaged. That's one.
Yeah.
Two, I personally don't follow this one, but I should. I think it's best to have a cam on when you stream. just so they can see your facial expressions or things like that, because that makes a big difference when you're streaming. Especially if you're like, I'm one of the many gamers that rages.
It's funny that you bring that up because I have friends that ask me, "Hey, do you watch his streams?" And I say, "I don't need to watch them. I hear them. I can hear you all the way over here."
You know what? And it's funny that you mentioned that because my brother-in-law, who lives 2 doors down, and mind you, I'm upstairs.
Yeah.
And I go over there to say what's up or, get something for my mom or whatever. My Nino be like, "Hey, pinche güey, cállate, hasta acá te oigo gritando. Y es bien tarde." Y le digo, "You really can hear me all the way down here?" Or,
yes.
Like, sí, güey, no mames, güey. Hasta acá se oye tus pinches putos gritos. I'm like, damn, all right, my bad. Dude, I wouldn't even doubt Whittier Boulevard can hear me yelling when I get pissed. But yeah, so I do rage, and I've lost a few controllers from it. So I think that's one of the reasons why you should have your camera on. And the number one key to a successful stream, always act like somebody's watching. Even if you have zero people watching, always
Absolutely.
Talk to whomever you might think might be on there. You don't have to necessarily address it based off like a person that's on there. You could just be like, "Hey, chat, what do you guys chat? What do you think?" Always try and address your chat or your viewers. That way it goes hand in hand with the other rule of keep them engaged. So yeah, I think constantly acting like somebody is watching even though they're not watching is the major key. And that one I learned from one of my friends, Arbiter. Shout out to you, bro, for letting me know that, which is what I start doing is I act like somebody's watching even though I have zero concurrent viewers.
Right.
But it's all for the fun, and we do it because we enjoy it regardless of who watches or not.
Now, the final thing I want to do for you is I'm trying to start something new for the OzzCast. I'm having so much fun doing these, and I try really hard to tell good stories and keep people entertained. I had a plan that I was going to have a full cast on me, but I'm already doing bonus episodes. I'm doing check-ins. I'm doing this and that. So I want to give you the floor to ask me, and just 3 questions. 3 questions of anything that you want to know. I'm gonna regret this right off the bat. I know I am.
Hey, I had to roll back a little bit. It's like,
I seriously I decided that I'm gonna start doing this with my guests just to make it fun, but regretting it instantly. You have 3 questions. Go.
Alrighty, 3 questions for the Oz.
Yeah.
Damn, you put me on the spot. Had I known, I would have had them lined up for you. So if I lag a little bit, I'm thinking really hard on what to ask because it's 3 and it's only 3.
I know. That's the fun. That's why I did it. I said I can't tell these people. And now going forward, they're all gonna be ready. I'm 100% sure of it. But
you should do it randomly.
I am. You know what? I recorded a pod yesterday that's gonna be out later on this week, and yeah, I didn't do it with him, but.
There it is. So tune into that, y'all. And if you haven't seen any of the other OzzCasts, I recommend you do that because they're kick-ass.
Thank you. I appreciate
3
that.
3 questions. Oh. Will we be able to have that sit-down kickback on the 4th of July?
As of right now, today is June 28th. I don't have any plans for 4th of July, so I believe it is going to go down. You forget that we also have to drink a little bit of the bubbly. Because we have 52 subscribers as of right now, and appreciate it for those 52 subscribers. So yeah, I do believe that our sesh is going to happen. Although, can we not do beer? Can we go whitewash and go like White Claw or something?
Hey, White Claw is low-key underrated. It is. And I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but White Claws are pretty good.
But you know what's funny, though? My cousins, both Corina and Cynthia, shout out to you guys, and Lily, if you're watching this, they got me into Corona Seltzer.
Oh, yeah. Are those good?
They're delicious. They're really, really good.
Okay. Let's do that because I haven't tried those. We'll have those.
You feel very, very bougie when you're drinking them, but they're very good. They're very good.
Do I have to stick out my pinky?
Not yet, playa, not yet.
All right.
Okay.
Second question. Would you be willing to do not a co-stream, but join me in one of my streams as a player in, it can be anything, a game you feel comfortable playing. I'll switch it up if I have to, just so I can have you, and we could shit talk while we're playing too. You know what I mean? So, would you be willing to do that?
Yes, I'm down for it.
Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? All right.
I'll do it. Would you be willing to play FIFA?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. If it means having you on the stream, bro, watch my non-skills, bro. Watch my non-skills on that. You're going to have to carry me. Straight mochila.
We'll definitely look into that. I would be willing to. We could do Fortnite. I haven't played Apex. I haven't played Overwatch.
We can do Fortnite.
Okay.
I do see you playing Fortnite every now and then, so I'm down to do some Fortnite. I just have to get back on it and learn the mechanics again, but it should be relatively easy.
We could do some practices. We'll be fine. Okay.
I think
Final question. Thank God.
No, I have one more.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Damn. How much wood would a woodchuck wood if a woodchuck would?
Well, I personally love wood, but
no. Let me see. I can't think of a third one. Oh, no. I'm gonna have to defer my third question to possibly the next OzzCast we have because I can't think of any right off the bat, and I don't want to make it a dead live cast here by me going.
We are scheduled for another Zoom cast. I believe next week. Next Sunday. I'm gonna sneeze. But
you could sneeze.
Yeah. It just fades to black. But yeah. I think we are scheduled. As far as I know, we're scheduled for another cast next Sunday.
Yeah.
July 5th. So yeah, we've actually reached the end of
we have
the OzzCast. Do you have anything else you want to say? Anything you want to close with?
I just want to say thank you to all of our subs.
Absolutely.
The Oz already pretty much broke it down. Without you guys, I mean, there'd still be a channel, but it wouldn't be as cool as it is. You make it what it is. We put out this content because we want you to enjoy it. We want you to be like, oh yeah, that was cool, that was funny, or things like that. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I speak
absolutely.
I speak for the Oz here when we say thank you.
Yeah,
you guys are great. Over here correcting me in the live chat box about Big Sean. I learned my lesson and I apologize. If you need me to make a written statement, I'll do so.
A retraction.
Yeah, retraction of what did I say? Jay-Z? No, I said Kanye. Didn't I? Or
you
something
said
like
Kanye.
that.
Well, it's on record anyway. You can rewatch it.
Yeah, I'll rewatch it. No, I think Kanye is on that.
No, he's not.
He's
in the song "Click" with Big Sean, Jay-Z, Kanye West, and one more person.
We're
gonna
look that up. I'm gonna look that up, and I'm gonna put in the goddamn comments if I'm right or if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, y'all can roast me on that shit. But I could have sworn Kanye's in that song, like a little verse of it.
Okay.
But anyway, but yeah, other than that, thank you guys for watching. For all those that stayed, we actually had a substantial amount of viewers, and we had a couple of likes on it as well. So thank you guys for sticking around and watching us. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oz, I don't know if you have any closing statements.
That was it. This actually was as stressful as it was the last week too. I have to get physically camera ready because this physique takes time. But this was actually fun. I want to thank you guys for actually sticking through however long this episode was. This actually was a lot of fun. Thank you for watching the whole thing. Thank you for being on the OzzCast. white version of El Buki.
Pero recuerda, nadie es perfecto y tú lo verás. Cling, cling, cling.
All right, brother. This has been fun. Thank you so much for doing this.
All right, brother. Well, thank you very much for having me here. And I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. So,
you live so far away, I haven't seen you in forever.
I know,
you live
bro.
in a small, isolated town, 740 area code.
Correct. But yeah, so I'm Garfield, aka the Glorious One, and I'm here with.
This has been Oscar, aka the Oz, host of the #1 show on the Oz and Glorious One Show YouTube channel. I had to throw that in. I'm sorry. All right.
Alrighty, my peeps. Well, thank you very much for watching, and
bye, guys.
Until the next one.
Bye, guys. See ya.
Bye. All right. Yeah, that ended. We're good.
How